We're all dreaming of those warmer days, especially today. And if you're in the middle of planning that first trip of summer, the clock is ticking to make it happen.
That's because the Real ID deadline is fast approaching. Joining us with more on what's needed is Jim Garrity with AAA. So glad you're here because obviously very relevant.
Yeah.
We have about a month until that deadline hits.
A month from yesterday.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's fast approaching. So I keep hearing these stories of people showing up long waits and then realizing they don't have everything they need. So
right.
what is required for
I know people in my personal life who got to the Real ID Center, one of those PennDOT locations, thought they had the documents they needed, just to find out that on a technicality, they did not.
Yeah.
And look, you can go find the replacement documents you need, but that can take some time. If you have to go to a federal, agency to get a new Social Security card, for example.
It can take some time.
Or the county to get a new birth certificate, whatever it might be. No matter what, though, May 7th is the deadline for Real ID. There's no indication at this point it's going to be delayed again.
Okay.
So if you have a vacation booked, this is something you need to think about yesterday. And if you may have a vacation or plan to travel coming up, it's really something we're thinking about as soon as possible to get those documents together.
Right. Absolutely. Now, what are those documents? Because we were talking to a coworker yesterday who waited in the line, and then her mother found out that the marriage certificate that she had wasn't the right one. She needed a raised seal. So that's a little pro tip.
Right. Yes. And I will say the PennDOT has a very extensive list of all the documents you're going to need.
Okay.
Essentially what Real ID is, and it goes back to post 9/11, when you get that star on your driver's license, that indicates you've gone through the extra steps to verify your identity. Sure. And that's what the Real ID certification is. And it's not just your driver's license, it could also include a passport or a passport card. If you already have those things, you already have a Real ID compliant document. But if you're like me, when I'm traveling through the airport, I'm worried about losing my passport. I don't want to be lugging that everywhere I go.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you're even traveling domestically, do you still need a Real ID at the airport?
This is specifically for domestic travel. Wow. Real ID you won't be able to use to travel internationally.
Right.
But this is for, and look, we're coming up on summertime, right?
Right.
Orlando, one of the biggest destinations, if not the top leisure destination out of Pittsburgh International Airport. We don't want to see people, from AAA's perspective, get to the airport with the whole family, everyone's wearing their Mickey and Minnie shirts or whatever it is, or they're getting ready to go on their cruise, and they get there just to find out that they're not going to be allowed on the plane. So this is something you got to think about.
Absolutely, and it's not mandated by law, but from what I'm gathering, just from talking about it as a regular human and not through the news, is that this is just convenience, truly, for us. This is for convenience also for the airlines and the different travel destinations to show we are who we are, so we can get through and not have all these documents with us.
And no matter what, wherever you travel in America, you're going to need Real ID compliant identification.
Got it.
And you can get this done. And if you have any questions, PennDOT's very, very helpful on this.
Yeah.
You can call the PennDOT locations.
Yeah.
There are a couple that you can go into those locations. Bridgeville's one of them, and actually get your license printed the day of. And if not, you can take it to other PennDOT locations, and they'll mail it to you 15 days later.
So I thought our producer Alante gave us this statistic this morning. Only 26% or just over 26% have gotten their Real ID so far in the state, which is kind of a little alarming. That means that there's going to either be a huge rush or a lot of people are not going to be compliant come May 7th.
A lot of people may be waiting to the last minute, but as the Secretary of Transportation for the state said, this is the last minute.
Yes, this is it.
So if you're thinking about the Real ID, you cannot wait. You have to take it seriously because you don't. And a lot of people think, well, I don't have a vacation coming up and I don't plan on traveling, but you never know, right? If you have family somewhere else in the country and a family emergency comes up or something good comes up, or if you need to get into some federal facilities, it's not just flying.
Right.
Yeah, Real ID is something to take seriously.
Put it on the list.
My birthday is a week after the expiration date, and so my license always expires, every couple of years on that date. And so I'm thinking like, oh, well, I'll just go and get it closer to when it expires.
No,
probably not everyone else.
And don't forget, it's in this for women in particular. If you've had marriages and divorces over the years, you're going to have documents that kind of show the change, why you've had changes of names. So yeah, you may have to get several documents together, and you may think you have them around the house, but you also might be surprised to find out you don't
have the right ones. Thank you very much. Some really important stuff.
It is. Well, putting that on the list. We'll have more info and details on Real ID requirements and a link to AAA on our website, kdk.com/talkpittsburgh.